They always have to announce what they're going to do before they do it. They've persuaded your leaders to take money to accept these people. As the most favorable outcome for themselves and their future generations, they'll abandon ship and they'll side with Traore.
Lend your ear, open your mind, you're gonna learn a lot about your past and yourself you didn't know before. The past affects your future.
Come with me as I show you how the current state of America is Africa's future. Tell me what you see in this photo. What do you see here? What do you see here? Look at the eyes. That's a dead giveaway. And what do you see here? Look at the phenotype. Check out what Trump is up to, and let's talk about it. Is this what Trump means when he says,
we are draining the swamp?
The Trump administration is negotiating a deal to deport people from the U.S. to Rwanda, even if they're not Rwandan. According to officials, the U.S. would pay Rwanda to accept deportees, including Africans and other third country nationals. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said, "We want to send you some of the most despicable human beings. The further away from America, the better." But Rwanda's government has been accused of human rights violations, including torture, political disappearances, and backing rebel groups.
All of this is reminiscent of what has already happened in history. This is what Britain has done already, previously.
Because we are draining the swamp, and we will restore true democracy to America again.
Trump is literally making moves out of their playbook. A place for the unwanted. Where might that be? The Americas, of course. Most people don't realize that the history that was put on my people, it actually belongs to the Caucasoids. Thousands of English people, men, women, and children who sailed to America, they sailed willingly or voluntarily. Well, they were born free. And so they came into a slave labor system. The royals of England, specifically the Queen, was in fear that England was going to be overwhelmed by the poor and also the lawless people. That's no different than what Trump is doing. And this is why the Caucasoids were shipped from all around Europe to Americas. They were the first slaves of America. What does it say? Tens of millions of Caucasoids are descended from these people, the chattel slaves. Throughout the colonial period, those who were sold into slavery and those who sold themselves as servants, they make up the majority of the immigrants. European slavery in early America is contained within 2 centuries and between 3 continents, from the tiny band of Englishmen who established Jamestown in 1607 to the slave ports of Africa. Hello. Not only that, they also went to south of Wales. And so these are the places that they were trafficked. They were dumped. They're convicts and undesirables. Isn't that what Trump is doing? Nearly 1,000 convicts a year were dumped in America, mostly in Maryland and Virginia. The majority of those in Virginia were convicts.
The illegal alien criminals are being sent home. We're draining the swamp and we're restoring government by the people, for the people. And we are going to drain the swamp.
Higher ups argued for England's gales to be emptied in America. What is a gale? It's a British term that simply means jail. Hello, isn't this reminiscent of what Trump is doing? Queen Elizabeth draining the swamp in Britain were actually religious wars. Yes, it was a saga of massacre, torture, and just major atrocities that were committed against people in Britain all over Europe. There was even a captain who wore priests' ears around his neck as a necklace. Those that were captured were hanged. And guess who had the hots for these dudes, these thugs? The Queen herself. Yes. She actually called them daredevils. And she actually put them in command and in control of capturing the children, women, men, and everyone around Europe. People who looked like her that she called undesirables, and sent them to America. They were lied to because many of them sold themselves into slavery as indentured servants, but many of them ended up as slaves till their death. Apparently, the Queen was succeeded by her sister, Mary Tudor, who sent many, many people to their death. The term Bloody Mary was given to her. In fact, I believe that the drink Bloody Mary, she was so fascinated by sending people to their death. Here is a reconstruction done of her face. I mean, she is heralded as heroine. to a lot of people. She drained the swamp, so to speak, of Europe and got rid of what they called their undesirables, criminals. They always have to announce what they're going to do before they do it. So part of the swamp drainings is they came from Europe initially. And from Europe, they flooded into America and brought everything that they are with them. And from America, now they're going into Africa. But first, they left the gates of America open and just allowed everybody, all sorts of criminals from everywhere, into America. And so now they're capturing them. And guess where they're sending them to? Africa, along with their criminals. You get it? They're draining the swamp and they're pouring it into Africa. They've persuaded your leaders to take money to accept these people. In various parts of Africa, they say the love of money is the root of all evil. Enjoy them as the rest of the world has, Africa. If these leaders want the most favorable outcome for themselves and their future generations, they'll abandon ship and they'll side with Traore. Not all money is good money, and money surely does not buy you happiness. If at the end of the day your conscience doesn't bother you for selling out for money, then carry on. Because after those people are finished using you, they will discard you like a used sanitary napkin and dispose of you, just like they will your people. Marinate on that. My question is, what's going to happen with all of the undesirables that are running our country into the ground, will remain in America? Those are the real undesirables.